album covers are arguably the most important part of any artist's music. When you see an album cover by your favorite artist, you automatically may think of your favorite songs from said album. Not to mention the emotions an album cover can evoke from the listener is also important. Even if you don't know the music, the cover could still leave you curious, ultimately encouraging you to listen to the album. I say all of this to express how much album covers of today lack the essence of album covers from the past. And that begs the question, do album covers still matter? And before I answer that question, this is my opinion, and if you disagree, be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, I know it's silly to include this, but we must go over what an album cover is, but I'll be sure to keep this part brief. An album cover is, and I quote, the front packaging art of a commercially released audio recording or a studio album. Essentially, an album cover is the first thing you see going into an album. When you see an album cover like Nevermind by Nirvana, it leaves you curious, wondering what the music may sound like. An album cover could either lure in an audience or completely scare them away. However, there are cases when an album has a bad cover but features good music. I typically think of Magical Mystery Tour by the Beatles. This is a god-awful cover. Now, why are album covers important? Like I said previously, album covers are important because it's the face of the music. Typically, when you listen to a new album, the cover is the first thing you see, meaning it's the listener's first impression, which is why it's so important for an album cover to be sleek, fresh, and inviting. Album covers like Thriller by Michael Jackson or Rubber Soul by the Beatles are intimate. They feature the artist on the cover front and center, leaving no bit of mystery. And on the other hand, covers like Currents by Tame Impala or Dark Side of the Moon are striking. Although they don't feature the artist on the cover, the images are still impactful, as they feature striking images that are meant to enhance or evoke interest from the consumer and or listener. To say an album cover adds to the experience would be an understatement. Album covers should be considered and chosen with as much love and care just as the track list is, but I feel like in recent years this practice has been lost. In recent years, album covers have been lacking, and that's not to say every album cover has been a miss, but it's definitely more than half. For every good album cover, there's 5 bad album covers. In the last 5 years alone, it seems like every graphic design artist has been laid off, and these covers are being auto-generated with AI or something. Certified Lover Boy by Drake, Her Loss by Drake, Honestly Nevermind by Drake, For All the Dogs by Drake. Need I say more? To say album covers aren't being treated with care nowadays is an understatement. Long gone are the days when album covers were just as important as the music. Don't get me wrong, good album covers still do exist. Just look at... Okay, maybe I'll take that back. Album covers today just suck. Okay, jokes aside, I wouldn't say they suck, but they are definitely lackluster. In comparison to covers from the past, these have nothing on them. Purple Rain by Prince is the first cover I think of when I hear best album covers. It's sleek, calm, and sensual. The smirk on Prince's face says enough. The smoke in the background gives the image a bit of edge. It's dark, and even the women in the background. It perfectly complements the music, and that's not even mentioning the movie that ties in. That album deserves a whole video on its own, and I plan on doing one for it. Now, here I'm gonna go off script a bit, but I'd just like to give my opinions on why I believe album covers today don't hold as much value as they did in the past. And I'd like to just say that I believe, like I said in my last video, that it may just be the streaming era. Now, artists are more focused on filling their track list with big songs, big features, and just 20 plus song albums just so that they can eat off these records, but I don't think they're putting as much time and care into the actual aesthetic of these albums anymore. When you look at album variant covers, I think that's a really good practice, and I feel like that should be taken a lot more seriously, and I think a lot more artists should jump on, maybe not a lot more artists, but I think a lot more artists should probably play around with that feature because it's a really good idea. And I think Olivia Rodrigo did a really good job at the album variant cover thing. Hers are really great, and Ariana Grande too for her new album Eternal Sunshine. I love those album variant covers, and I feel like they add a whole nother meaning to the album, if that makes sense. Okay, now I'm back on script. Before I end this video, I'd like to give props to the musicians that are still trying when it comes to their album covers. Some of my favorite album covers from this year are Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish, Eternal Sunshine by Ariana Grande, and Chromacopia by Tyler the Creator, which reminds me of Heroes by David Bowie, and if you've seen my video on David Bowie, I love his work. These album covers honestly feel so refreshing to see after so many lackluster covers over the past few years. Though, I hand it up to you. What are your favorite album covers as well as least favorite album covers? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. But until then, see you later.